Rotting Millions, 5 Mysterious Car Graveyards. A collection of the spoils of war in the woods, a collection of classic Alfa Romeo in the basement of the castle, and other strange places. Rare Alfa Romeo in the castle near Brussels. A huge red brick castle under the Belgian capital belonged to a local millionaire who left for the United States more than 4 decades ago and decided not to turn to his homeland. The building stood locked up for almost half a century until, at the expiration of the term, the title of the property was opened by local authorities. In addition to luxurious furniture and expensive utensils, a dozen of the rarest Alfa Romeo models from the 1950s and 1960s were found in the basement of the castle, despite the fact that the cars were not in the open air but indoors. Due to dampness and temperature changes, they came to a depressing state after almost half a century. However, several European museums of vintage cars have already announced the desire to purchase and restore cars. Old Car City near Atlanta. Old Car City is the world's largest graveyard of automotive technology and is the result of a family business. Back in the 1970s, the owner of a small wreck shop selling used car parts decided that many of the cars they were removing parts from deserved a completely different fate, and instead of disassembling old cars, the enthusiast began to buy dozens of them and take them to a huge plot of land 50 miles from Atlanta, Georgia. At the same time, he did not perform any restoration work with them, and the cars, standing in the open air without any maintenance, came into despair, and some even sprouted with bushes and trees. Nevertheless, over 2 decades on an area of about 14 hectares, he collected over 4,500 cars, most of which were produced before 1972. Then the man passed away, and his son inherited this strange collection, and enterprising man who received an unusual inheritance decided to make money on it. Now, Old Car City is not a junkyard or a car cemetery, but an open-air museum which cost $25 to enter. Oldtimer plaque in the forest near Shotien. At its very modest size, Belgium is rich in strange conditions. However, unlike the castle with abandoned Alfa Romeos, which were discovered at the very beginning of this year, another cemetery in the territory of Van Damme's homeland has been known for a long time. So, in the very south of the country, not far from the village of Shotien, in the deep forest, several dozen vintage cars have been standing and rusting for more than half a century. The exact reason for their appearance in a strange place is not known, but local legend says that cars appeared here immediately after the end of the World War II. American troops stationed in the area hate captured vehicles in the forest, because of course they could not deliver them across the ocean on military ships and planes. However, they did not plan to leave them there forever and probably wanted to take them out later. But for some reason, they never succeed. They say that in this forest once it was about 500 cars, but now it's not more than 150 of them. Unique young timers near Tokyo. An unusual cemetery of rare cars an hour's drive south of Tokyo was discovered by 2 car journalists from the UK. On a small site under the Japanese capital, more than 200 cars of various years of production live out their days. Moreover, many of them with a fair amount of repair work done. According to people who discovered the cars, most of them are donors for rebuild projects forgotten by their owners. Of course, Not all abandoned cars are unique, but there are real gems among them. For example, at the junkyard you can see the rarest Alpina B7 Turbo S and Alpina 635 CSI, the classic BMW 635 CSI, the unique Land Rover TD5 Defender in the Middle East specification, as well as Toyota Trueno GT-Z, Chevrolet Corvette C3, BMW E9, and even Citroën AX GT, abandoned supercars in Dubai. There are several abandoned car graveyards around Dubai, but they have one thing in common. As a rule, there are new and very expensive luxury cars there. The fact is that many foreigners who are accustomed to living on a grand scale often go bankrupt or violate the laws of Islam and leave the region. And often, when leaving, they abandon everything that belongs to them, including luxury cars. Then, a special service collects them all over the Emirates and takes them to huge sites in the desert. Therefore, do not be surprised at the dozens of orphan Bentleys, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and even Rolls-Royce. Moreover, under the windshields of some cars, you can see loan documents or notes of apology left by the owners. Of course, some of these cars are taken into account for the debt of the owners. But there are those who have been standing under a huge layer of dust for years, waiting for the owners. Don't forget to subscribe and like it. Thanks for sharing, and bye-bye.